And I've got feedback. So whoever's doing that, mute yourself, please. Cool. All right, so today we're going to talk about lead generation. And the last couple of days, we've talked about mindset and skill set. So 90% of success is mindset and 10% is skill set. And part of that 10% is lead generation. We're going to dial in and go deep on lead generation using campaign and command in generating Facebook leads today. And before Justin jumps in and shares his screen, I'm going to jump in and share my screen and just talk about what it looks like to create leads through the internet. All right, so here we go. At times, this might feel like we're moving a little bit slow today, guys, so just hang in there. If I went to Zillow and I typed in the search criteria 33065. That's a zip code that I'm in. That's a zip code that a lot of you are in. It's going to pull up a list of properties that are available. Now, when I click on one of those properties, in other words, I want more information, it's going to pull up the property and it's going to pull up detailed information on that property. Cool. So far, so good. We've got a little map so we can see where the property is located. That's awesome. And we're going to scroll down and we can request a tour. We can also get a call. Now, if I click on get a call and I type in my name and phone number, is that going to the listing agent? Yes or no?
No. No.
Well, technically in this situation, the listing agent is one of 4 people who's going to get that message. I'm going to scroll down. And there we go. Listing agent is the top person on the list. The others are what are called premier agents. Anybody know what that means?
Yes.
Tell me, Yeti.
They pay $500 a month to be in there.
Yeah, at least, right? So I'm just going to use myself as an example. When the Dietz team was spending money to get leads, we had 3 zip codes that we were purchasing leads for. This was between 2010 and 2015. We were spending about $2,000 a month to get those leads. Now, we were one of 4 people who would get that lead. So if I were to go in here right now and I hit contact agent and I put in my name and my phone number, it's going to all 4 of these agents. Whoever gets to me first wins, including the listing agent, guys. And if I'm spending $2,000 for leads and it's creating 5 leads a month or 5 leads a day, excuse me, that's normal. Matter of fact, that would be pretty good. Then that's 150 leads in a month. At $2,000, I'm paying $13.40 per lead. So far, so good. Give me a thumbs up. You with me? Cool. Good. Now, if I go into Zillow and I want to see a neighborhood, in other words, I type in Eagle Trace, this is what's going to come up. And I've got the neighborhood. I've got opportunity to click over here in the map. And I could see properties that are for sale in Eagle Trace. I'm also looking at homes that are outside Eagle Trace. And one of the things that you'll notice is the neighborhood isn't outlined. So I'm not really sure what's Eagle Trace and what's not. However, if I went into Keller Williams and I typed in Eagle Trace, Coral Springs, I'm in the neighborhood. I've got an outline of the neighborhood and I've got all the properties that are available in the neighborhood. Now, let's say that I want to generate leads. That's just a little bit of a comparison on websites, guys. Let's say that I wanted to create leads through campaigns in Facebook. And I don't want to spend $13.40 a lead. By the way, does anybody know what the conversion ratio is on an internet lead? On average, according to the National Association of Realtors,
1 to 2%.
1 to 2%. Great job, Camille. Absolutely. So that means if I'm generating 100 leads a month or 1,200 a year, I'm going to get approximately 4 closed deals. Justin, did I do the math on that correct?
I'm going to go with yes.
Well, tell me if I'm wrong. 1,200 times 12. Say it again, Michael.
1% of 100 is 1. So if you got 1,200 leads in the year, that's 12 transactions.
There we go. I knew I was wrong. So there's 12 transactions, guys. Okay, 12 transactions. Now, somebody can take 12,000, because that's the number of leads, times $13.40. Everybody has a phone in front of them, which means you have a calculator. I should have used my calculator. Take 12,000 times $13.40.
$156,000.
$156,000. A lot of money, right? Justin, can you show me how we could do this for a little bit less than $156,000?
Yeah, that sounds pretty high, John. Let's definitely take care of that.
Well, let's look at how we can get leads for about $1.20 a lead versus $13.40 a lead. Okay, Justin?
Yeah, let's do that. So does everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm in command. So I'm the Director of Agent Services in the Coral Springs Market Center. I know this pretty well, and I'm not going to rush through it or speed through it. I'm going to go through it at a regular pace. So we're in command. On the left-hand side, I'm going to select and click on campaigns. This brings us to our paid campaigns area, our paid ads area. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create a new campaign. And I want to do a social paid ad. Let me move this accept cookies. So I'm just in my campaign test. This does not go out to the public. This is just for my, and I want to maybe advertise this. Depending on which one you select, it does change the algorithm to maximize your dollar amount to get you the most leads. So I'm on advertise a listing, and where will I want to run my campaign? I'm going to say Facebook. Facebook and Instagram are owned by Facebook. So if you select Instagram, that goes through Facebook as well. And if you go ahead and use Twitter, I haven't sat with any agents who have used Twitter at a high level. You can go ahead and select that. I wouldn't worry about Twitter right now, so we're only going to focus on Facebook. Click Setup Campaign. Up next, it says no records found. This is my screen because I currently don't have any active listings. So remember, I want to advertise a listing. So I now have the opportunity to select a listing out of Waxing, and let me select only my listings, change that to all listings, and I'm going to go from property address, and I'm going to search for a listing agent. John Dietz, do we have an agent in mind that we want to run a property ad for?
Well, why don't you just pick a property, or maybe ask Corey Edwards if he can give you the address of one of his active listings, and we'll use that.
Corey, let's go ahead and do that. Give me active address for a property.
Or if Heather's on the call, maybe.
Active property. Geez, on me.
Yeah, Corey, that's why I said Heather, because I know you have like 60 active listings, and Heather probably knows better than you, right?
All right, so let's try this one. 2355 Northwest 18th. Fort Lauderdale. The street. Here it is, 255.
Here, 255, great.
That was the only reason why I know that one, because that one's a pain in my butt, but go ahead.
Well, let's get it sold for you, Corey. So I just simply typed in a property address. If you didn't have a property address, you can search for that listing agent. So I'm sure if I pulled up a listing agent, Heather Barber, all of her properties would come up. So we're going to click on select. And clicking on select, what that does for us is that brings in the images and it brings in the description already. So we don't have to do that work, right? So on the right-hand side, we have a preview of what the ad will look like. So this is just a preview. And as we make our changes, I always refer to the right-hand side and say, okay, great, that looks good, or let's change. So I'm just gonna go through the main copy here, location. I'm gonna remove that. I don't think that's gonna maximize the verbiage that we have. This lovely 2-bed, 1.5 bath, single family home is located in the heart of Fort Lauderdale. Home features new hurricane impact windows throughout, large front porch, huge yard for all your entertainment needs, and vaulted ceiling. I think that's great. I don't need to change anything. We're gonna come down to headline. Headline is this bold text on the right-hand side. So this is something that you're going to want to make a strong statement on, and this is going to entice them to click for more information. So I'm going to come back to that in just a second while I think of something. And then right under that, we have description. So what's cool about and campaigns in Command is you can shuffle through suggestions that they suggest for you. So you could be coming home to this, shuffle, schedule a private tour with me today, shuffle, view photos and videos of this home. So I actually like schedule a private tour with me today. And headline, let's say, welcome to paradise. Because when we think of Fort Lauderdale, we think of paradise, beaches, margaritas, so forth. Cool. When we've added all our text, we're going to click on Save Add Text. Keep my text short and clear. I shuffled through the suggestions and I didn't click on Use Suggestion. So Use Suggestion, it sticks now, it's in there, we can save, add, and we can move on. Remember how I said earlier, it imports the images for you. So what it does is it imports the first image that Corey or Heather have set, and we can add more. So I like to use no more than 5 images. I actually like to keep it at 3 because it's just enough to dangle that carrot in front of them to want them to ask for more. So I like exterior and clean interior shots. So I'm gonna go with this one here. We're going to preview and crop it because it shows a really spacious open floor plan. We're going to click on Save Image. I'm going to go ahead and add one more. Aerial shots are really, really popular, by the way. If you had any aerial shots, I would put those in now. And maybe I'll go with this bedroom because it doesn't have that wonderful South Florida wood on the wall. Cool. So I have my images here. If you had a drone or aerial video, you can populate your video by selecting video and uploading that image. Up next, we have the DBA logo position. This is, I don't believe this is required in the state of Florida. So if you wanted to remove it, you can. However, I'm proud to be with KW Coral Springs, so I'm definitely going to leave mine. Done with the images, we're going to click on Save, Add Media. Up next is channel options. So we're going to configure this for our Facebook ad. So remember, Facebook ads can only be run through Facebook business pages that are associated with your personal account. So on the left-hand side, we have my personal account. And then when we click on page, you'll have all your business pages. And I'll select my Justin Hardy Keller Williams Realtor page. So far, so good?
Doing great, doing great.
Awesome. So up next is destination. Where do we want to send the people? I always love to use the Facebook lead generation form because since 2006, Facebook has always been updating and improving what they do for ads. And if you use the Facebook lead generation form, it already pulls information from that user's profile. So they would not have to type in their information. So the less that they have to do, the better it is for us. Of course, if you're like Corey Edwards, you're moving in business, you've got your technology set up, he probably has tons of landing pages out there. You can use your own custom website or landing page. So On the bottom right, underneath this image, we have a Learn More button. So that's our call to action button. So if we click on this dropdown, we can select from different things. So learn more, sign up, apply now. Depending on what you're offering, you want to be careful with this. So maybe if I was advertising for Keller Mortgage or Keller Car, I may want to select sign up or apply now. Because this is a property, they're not really signing up for anything. I don't want them to feel like they're being solicited. So we're just going to click on learn more.
Justin, can I interrupt for a moment?
Sure.
Yeah, so let's go back to use Facebook lead generation form versus using a landing page. I believe
Yes.
I'm correct, and tell me if I'm not. We definitely want to use the lead generation form, because if we just send them to a landing page, we're not collecting their contact information. They may or may not contact us, and we don't have anything.
So John, that's correct. And thank you for stopping me and highlighting on that. If we use our own landing page, there's nothing that forces them to put the information in. While Facebook doesn't technically force them per se, it will and should populate with their information already. So all they have to do is click the send or submit button and it goes to you. So that means they don't have to type in their name, their phone number, their email address, and give you inaccurate information on your own landing page. Because they're already signing in with Facebook using their account email, username, and password, that is most likely the email that will get sent to you. And you know it's live and active because they're using it to sign into Facebook.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you. So up next for follow-up destination or URL, that's where that learn more link is going to go to. So we could type in a page if we like. We can copy and paste. Maybe we have a vendor partner that we want to work alongside with us and they have some stuff set up. We can go ahead and put that in. Or if we've created a landing page on KW Command, we can click choose landing page. And this can go to your testimonials. This can go to a property landing page that gives them just a little bit more information about that property. You can go to your download your app landing page. They'll download your app, they'll log in, and then that gets entered as a lead. Just for educational purposes, I'm just going to use my contact us page. That's the contact us page that's on my website. And this is just an additional resource. So let's say they don't feel comfortable putting in their information in Facebook and they want to contact you directly through your website. They have the option to go ahead and put this information. So I'll use my contact us page. And next we have ad targeting. So I always love to let the KWRI algorithm take its course because KW's invested millions upon billions of dollars in this. They know what works right. But if you feel the need to want to adjust this a little bit, you can. So we'll just toggle the custom settings button on. And now we can do target our database. So if you're like Kevin Morris, who has 100,000 people in his database, you can target them, or we can now use a custom audience. So I'm going to pause right here. If you've ever ran a Facebook ad from Facebook itself, not through command, from Facebook itself, you know that there's quite a few steps. You have to select your target audience or demographics. If you go too wide, it'll go to everybody. If you go too narrow, nobody will see it. So with that being said, we're going to keep the location at Fort Lauderdale. KW standardizes the radius at 20 miles. So I'm going to bring that in just a little bit. So I'm going to bring that down to 15 miles. 15 miles is the minimum. I think that's a great minimum because I want to target people that are a little closer to Fort Lauderdale. And now I'm going to add or change interests. This is something you do not have to do. This is just an extra step. If I didn't do it, I would still produce leads. If I did do it, I may produce just a few more leads. So I'm going to click on add change interests. And I'm just going to add a couple keywords in here like the heavy hitters. We have Zillow. So I'm going to select Zillow. So people who are on Google or in Facebook searching for Zillow, Zillow properties, Zillow agent, stuff of that sort. This is coming up as an additional interest. I'm also going to search for realtor. and it should bring us realtor.com. I'm going to save my selection. I only want to use those two. Again, excuse me, you don't want to play with the demographics too much because KW does a phenomenal job. And they already do a great job. Let's not mess something up that we know is proven. When we're done with that, we'll click Save Facebook Ad. And now we're on the last step, the duration and budget. Okay. KW recommends a 10-day campaign of a minimum for $1 per day per channel. So per channel would be Facebook, Instagram, however many platforms is connected and we're advertising to, each one of those is a channel. So it always takes about a day to approve. So it's starting it on tomorrow and it's ending it on August 31st. So we see the duration is 10 days and we see total campaign budget is already set to $30. I'm fine with that. That's giving me 10 days at $3 per day per channel, totaling $30. Depending on how you adjust this, the more money that you spend per day, the more people will see it per day, okay? So I'm great with these settings. I wanna save the duration and budget, and then from here you can either save as draft or you can publish campaign. So I'm gonna go ahead and publish it. That is my credit card. I'm going to click on Create Campaign and it's going live.
So Justin, why that little circle is going around and round.
Yes.
It took you approximately 15 minutes to do that, taking your time to explain what you were doing and answer a couple questions.
Yeah, absolutely, John. And if I didn't know how to run a Facebook campaign at all, this is the first time you're seeing it, you do it 2 to 3 times, you can, move that 15 minutes down to 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
So
that seemed easy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For, $1.30 leads, absolutely.
Very cool.
So if we're looking at my screen right now, I labeled it test. It's pending review, should start tomorrow, and I'll see all my analytics here. So when I start to get in those leads, Corey, I'm going to be bringing you a buyer.
Bam, sell this sucker.
Let's do it. Awesome.
Question.
Yeah.
I know you did a listing. Can you advertise a property that's pending or maybe a home that is sold or something of that nature, or does it have to be an active listing?
Yeah, it's a great question, Corey. You can actually advertise whatever you want. And I'm going to say that a little bit loose because if we did not select a listing, I'm going to use you as an example because I see all of your social media and your great content pieces that you put on social media. So I'm sure you have just listed, just sold, under contract. You can actually swap out the listing information for that little postcard image, and you can call that your campaign.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Beautiful.
John, before I disconnect my screen and stop share, do you have any last minute questions?
No, you did an incredible job. I definitely have a few things that I want to share. So if you would stop share, then I'm going to jump in here. Hang out with me though, just in case there's a question. So I'm looking at the chat, and Justin, check me if I'm right on this. Mindy asked, does using advertise a listing bring more leads than if you use one of the other options?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Mindy. And just like selling a property quick, it depends on a few things. Photography and the copy that you use. So copy that you use, not too lengthy, not too detailed, just enough to get them on the hook is what you want. And depending on which of those eight tiles you select, Command will run the algorithm associated with that. So if I was branding my page or myself, that may bring in less leads because I don't want them as a lead. Maybe I want them to go to my social media pages or my website as traffic instead. So it does depend on which of those that you select.
Great job, Justin. And Lucia asked, I'm assuming you would get the okay to market another agent's listing before you do this. I love that. So Corey, quick question for you. Does Zillow advertise your listings?
No.
Are your
Well,
listing are your
Oh, I
listings
take
on?
that back. Yes, they do.
Yeah. Do they ask for your permission to do that?
Absolutely not. No.
No. Does Redfin advertise your listings?
Yes.
Yep.
Do they ask for permission to do that?
I wish they would. No.
Right. And just so all of you know, when you put your listings out there on the MLS, you just gave everybody permission to advertise your listings. Now, here's one of the things that I do as a team leader that's a lot of fun is I'll call real estate agents that are with other brokers. And I'll say, hey, Eddie, I've got an idea. Why don't I advertise your listing for you on command? And I'll send you the leads from that ad. Would you be interested in that? Hey, by the way, Zillow is advertising your leads. Redfin is advertising your leads. They're not asking for permission and they're not sending you the leads. So if I advertise it for you and send you the leads, are you okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Lucio, every state is different and there's state MLS requirements, and I would say it depends on where you're located, whether or not you have to get permission or not. And I would always get permission before I advertise somebody's listing, always. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that. Justin, are you using the dynamic channeling so that the algorithm choose the spend between Facebook and Instagram?
So that last step where we select the duration and budget, had I selected Instagram as a channel I wanted to advertise to alongside Facebook, I would be able to set the amount that I want to spend on each channel myself. So I could take that $30 and say spend 20 of that during the 10 days on Facebook, and during that 10 days spend the other 10 on Instagram.
Cool. Very good.
Justin and John.
Yeah.
And Justin, in regards to impressions, I know that I've run it on Facebook by itself, and it shows me impressions. I've been on command, and I'm not getting impressions of how many. And again, maybe you can clarify, what is an impression?
That's a great question, Mike. We have a meeting later. I'm going to cover yours with you. And an impression is a view. So how many people are seeing your ad? So when you're on Facebook, and if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see 5 to 7 different ads. Who is viewing those at any given time? And that happens based on what you're doing throughout your day on Google, on Facebook, on your internet browser. Cookies are shared back and forth. And then that's kind of a longer explanation on what an impression is.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Gotcha.
Justin, do you have your next command class on the schedule yet?
I believe it's next week. I'll double check with Tammy, and I know she'll be advertising me.
Okay, cool. And if you've got the link to that, if you could put it in the chat, that would be awesome.
You got it, John. Let me look for it.
Okay, thank you. So guys, what you're looking at is you're looking at some stats from an agent who was on Jason Abrams' call last Tuesday. They've generated 3,500 leads. They're in Denver, Colorado, and the cost for their leads is actually running a little bit higher than what we're seeing in South Florida, $3.29. Still a lot better than $15 on average, which is what their Zillow leads would probably be costing them. They've got 540 of those 3,500 leads in nurtures. Those are future opportunities. That's super important for you guys to understand. Those are 540 future opportunities. And if you follow my system for success, that means that's 540 people that you're following up with forever. Mm-hmm. So even though that may not be a sale today, it could be a sale a year from now. It might be 6 months from now. Even if it's 2 years from now, that's still opportunity that you are getting. Now, they've set 40 appointments so far, and they have 3 sales under contract. At an average commission of $10,000, they've already earned $30,000 on approximately $10,000 invested. It's already a good return. And here's the thing that I want you to focus on, this number right here, 540. How many of those will end up being pending sales?
10%.
Could be a really big number. So let's say it's 10%. That's 54. Holy cow.
And if it's John Deeds, it's 20%.
There you go. Does this work? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So the next question is, are you using it? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, learn how to use it today. Start using it today. Justin just spent $30, which, by the way, Justin, I owe you $30 because that's not going to be your money. Justin just spent $30 in order to generate probably 25 leads for the Edwards group. It's huge. All right, take yourself off mute. Talk to me. What did you learn? What are your ahas? And I know you're going to have a ton of questions. And Justin is teaching. Yes. Look at Nellie. She's a rock star. Nellie put it in the chat. Love that. Thank you, Nellie. So Justin's next command class is scheduled for 12:30 to 2. Don't see a date on that, but I do
next
see
Thursday.
Link. Next Thursday, and I do see the link. So talk to me. Give me ahas.
I've got an aha, John.
Yes.
I can not go out to lunch once a week and use that money to run an ad.
There you go. Yeah.
My biggest aha, John, is lead follow-up. That's 70% of what we do, right? When we're prospecting.
Yeah.
The other 30%, I call it lucky, right? 70% of what we do in order to have massive closings is lead follow-up. That's it.
Got it, brother. You absolutely got it. Listen, guys, I'm not going to take the time to go to my screen and draw a picture. I'm just going to draw on a piece of paper here. And we're going to close with this. Everybody sees this, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So the day a buyer purchases a home, that lead is worth $10,000. The very next day, that same contact is worth 0. Everybody see that? Mm-hmm. Now, if you were a part of my team and I gave you a lead right here, you would say, holy cow, John, that's a great lead, because the average time between a buyer purchasing a home and making the next purchase is 7 to 10 years. And if I gave you a lead 30 days before that buyer got serious about purchasing a home, you would say, wow, John, great lead. Here's the challenge with real estate. This is going to what Corey was just talking about. Most of these internet leads are coming in right here. And the real estate agent talks to them. They find out that the buyer is just shopping. They're tire kicking. They're not serious. And they go, wow, that's a lousy lead. And they throw it in the trash. And I'm going to tell you, there are no bad leads. There's just real estate agents who don't follow up. So the key to success is not only follow up, the key to success is having a system in order to follow up, in order to create emotional proximity. So when that person gets serious about purchasing a home, you're there. It's just that simple. If you'll take that lead that maybe is a year away from purchasing a home, it could be one of those 540 nurtures. If you'll take a lead that's maybe a year away from purchasing a home and you'll put them on a smart plan in order to stay in touch with them over that time period, and you pick up the phone and you call them once a month and you just check in, hey, Corey, John Dietz, Keller Williams, following up as promised, just checking in to see how you are. Is there anything I could do for you today? And if I call once a month and I just have that conversation, I'm staying in touch. It's just like going to, Justin, if you could just let everybody know I'm going to be late for huddle, please. It's just like if I walked into Nordstrom's, my favorite store, and somebody came up to me and said, can I help you? And I said, no, I'm just looking. And then they go away and they never check in on me again. Now I've got a brand new Xenia suit in my hands, $4,000, guys, a brand new Xenia suit. And anybody with a key in their hand will do. anybody. I'm just looking for somebody with a key to get me in the dressing room. Now, if that same individual who checked in on me when I walked in the door and said, can I help you? And I said, I'm just looking. If they said, oh, okay, that's cool. My name is Corey, by the way, and I'm going to be over here folding clothes. If there's anything you need, I'll just be a few steps away. Now, 5 minutes later, Corey comes over and says, Mr. Dietz, how are you doing? Have you found anything that you like? Or are there any questions that I can answer for you? Nope, still just looking. Okay, I'll be over here folding clothes. Do you have any questions? I'm a few steps away. 5 minutes later, Corey comes in and checks on me again. This time he brings a bottle of water and he says, wow, you're working really hard. Thought you might need some water. Do you have any questions? No, still looking. Now, I've got that $4,000 Zinnia suit in my hand. What am I gonna do?
$140.
I'm gonna go find Corey. I'm gonna go find Corey. It's just that simple. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just that easy. Success is simple, not easy. All right, guys, it's 9:13. It's time to get on the phone, make those calls. 20 contacts, not 19, not 18, not 17. It's 20. It's the recipe. You have to use the whole recipe to see success. The purpose of a contact is to get an appointment, get a referral, or add somebody to your database. Talk to one person every day, face to face, who's interested in buying a home or selling a home. I love that dog. Putting 250 people in your pipeline. One person a day is 250 people in a year, working 50 weeks, 5 days a week. 250 people in follow-up that will eventually work with you. Send out 5 handwritten personal notes. Reject, rejection. No is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. All right, last thing before I let you go. We will be here tomorrow morning at 8:30. However, I will not be here Friday or Monday. I'm actually going on vacation. Holy cow. And
Nice.
yes, I'm going to be sitting on the beach looking at the ocean. So
Beautiful.
I will see you tomorrow morning, and then the next time back together will be next Tuesday. Everybody make it a
See you
great day.
Tuesday.
Thanks a lot. Have a great vacation.
Okay, thank you.
See you.